Sergeant Reckless, the horse who became a Marine. She was a small Mongolian mare who ate poker chips, drank beer, and became one of the most decorated Marines in U.S. history, Sergeant Reckless. During the Korean War, this unlikely soldier carried ammunition, saved lives, and won the hearts of her fellow Marines, earning a place in military history that no other horse has matched. From racetrack to battlefield, Reckless began life as a racehorse in Korea. Her name was Achime, meaning morning sun. In October 1952, Marine Lieutenant Eric Peterson bought her for $250. The stable boy who sold her needed money to buy his sister a prosthetic leg. After she had stepped on a landmine, Peterson wasn't looking for a pet. He needed a pack animal for his recoilless rifle platoon. Each 75mm shell for those rifles weighed about 24 pounds, and carrying them up steep Korean hills was brutal work. The little chestnut mare would take on the job. Renamed Reckless after the recoilless rifles, she was about to prove her name was no joke. Hoof camp and odd tastes. Like any new Marine, Reckless went through training, nicknamed Hoof Camp. She learned to crawl under barbed wire, lie down when under fire, and dash to a bunker when someone shouted, "Incoming!" To the surprise of her trainers, she mastered the drills quickly. And then there was her appetite. Reckless ate everything. She slurped down Coca-Cola, munched scrambled eggs, and washed it all down with beer. She had a sweet tooth for candy and chocolate. Once, she barged into a poker game and ate $30 worth of chips. Another time, she chewed up her own silk blanket. Even a batch of awful chocolate pudding, rejected by every Marine, went down without hesitation, though it left her with stomach troubles. Despite her strange diet, she became a favorite companion. On cold nights, she would sneak into tents and curl up beside the Marines. Every morning, she licked her handler's face until he gave her an apple. She wasn't just a mascot, she was family. Into battle. At first, gunfire spooked Reckless. The boom of a recoilless rifle sent her leaping in fright. But after a few tries, she adjusted and never panicked again. Soon, she was carrying up to 12 heavy shells at once. Trekking alone over rough terrain, she memorized supply routes and returned carrying wounded Marines on her back. Unlike other animals that bolted at danger, Reckless stayed calm. Her defining moment came in March 1953 at the Battle of Outpost Vegas, one of the bloodiest clashes of the war. Thousands of Chinese troops stormed Marine positions. The fighting was constant, the air thick with smoke and exploding shells. Ammunition had to reach the front, or the Marines would be overrun. Reckless delivered. On a single day, she made 51 solo trips, carrying 386 shells, over 9,000 pounds of ammunition, up a 45-degree slope while artillery rained down. She marched more than 35 miles that day. Shrapnel struck her twice, once in the flank and once above her eye. Yet even bleeding, she kept climbing, trip after trip. To Marines watching from the ridges, her silhouette through the smoke became a symbol of stubborn courage. If a little horse could face the storm, then so could they. The Marines' favorite comrade. By now, Reckless was more than a horse. She was a Marine. The Chinese even tried to target her, which only fueled the Marines' fury. As one said, "We would sooner lose a man than that horse." To honor her bravery, General Randolph Pate, later Commandant of the Marine Corps, personally promoted her. In 1959, at Camp Pendleton, she became Staff Sergeant Reckless in a full ceremony, complete with a parade and a 19-gun salute. And this wasn't a symbolic title. Marines treated her rank seriously. No one of lower rank could order her around. If she nudged a private for food, that was considered a lawful order. When new recruits arrived, one unlucky farm kid was assigned to run 5 miles beside her every day for exercise. Riding her was forbidden. She outranked them. A hero's welcome. After the war, the Marines secretly arranged her passage home, fearing bureaucracy might block it. Reckless arrived in San Francisco on November 10, 1954, the Marine Corps birthday. At the ball that night, she ate the cake and all the flower decorations. She lived out her days at Camp Pendleton, raising foals with names like Fearless, Dauntless, and Chesty. She had her own stable, her medals proudly displayed on her red blanket, which she sometimes tried to eat. She never had to carry anything heavier than her blanket again. In all, she received 2 Purple Hearts, the Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, the Presidential Unit Citation with Bronze Star, the Korean Service Medal, the United Nations Korea Medal, and several others. The legend lives on. Sergeant Reckless died in 1968, but her memory endures. Statues of her stand at the Marine Corps Museum in Quantico, Virginia, and at Camp Pendleton. She remains a symbol of courage, loyalty, and the oddball humor of Marines in wartime. She wasn't just a war horse. She was a comrade who carried the weight of battle and lifted spirits when hope was thin. As one Marine said best, "We would sooner lose a man than that horse."
It's time to study new words in context. 1. Mare. Definition: a fully grown female horse. Example: the mare trotted gracefully across the field, her mane shining in the sunlight. 2. Prosthetic leg. Definition: an artificial leg, made to replace one that has been lost through injury or illness. Example: after the accident, he learned to walk again with a prosthetic leg. 3. Recoilless. Definition: describing a weapon that releases gas backward, so it does not kick back or recoil when fired. Example: the Marines used a recoilless rifle that was powerful, but easier to handle on the battlefield. 4. Slurped down. Definition: to drink or eat something noisily and quickly. Example: after a long, cold day, she slurped down a bowl of hot soup. 5. Munched. Definition: to chew food steadily and noisily. Example: the children munched on popcorn while watching the movie. 6. Barged. Definition: to move or push into a place roughly or suddenly, without waiting or asking. Example: the dog barged into the kitchen, knocking over a chair. 7. Curl up. Definition: to lie or sit with your arms and legs close to your body, often to stay warm or comfortable. Example: the cat curled up beside the fireplace and fell asleep. 8. Spooked. Definition: to become frightened or startled, especially suddenly. Example: the horse spooked at the sound of thunder and bolted across the field. 9. Nudged. Definition: to touch or push someone or something gently, usually to get attention. Example: the little boy nudged his friend to point out the ice cream truck. 10. Foal. Definition: a young horse, especially one less than a year old. Example: the foal stayed close to its mother as they wandered through the meadow. 11. Oddball. Definition: a person or thing that is unusual, strange, or different from others. Example: his oddball sense of humor made everyone laugh, even in serious meetings.
Comprehension questions. 1. Who was Sergeant Reckless before she became a Marine? Answer: she was a Korean racehorse named Achim Hae, meaning morning sun. 2. How did the Marines come to buy her and for how much? Answer: Marine Lieutenant Eric Peterson bought her for $250. The stable boy sold her to raise money for his sister's prosthetic leg after she stepped on a landmine. 3. Why did the Marines need a horse like Reckless? Answer: they needed a pack animal to carry heavy 75mm recoilless rifle shells, each weighing about 24 pounds, up steep Korean hills during the war. 4. What unusual foods did Reckless eat? Name at least 3. Answer: she ate scrambled eggs, chocolate, Coca-Cola, beer, candy, poker chips, and even her silk blanket. 5. What did the Marines call her training camp, and what did she learn there? Answer: they called it hoof camp. She learned to crawl under barbed wire, lie down under fire, and run to a bunker when someone shouted, "Incoming." 6. What major battle made Reckless famous, and when did it take place? Answer: the Battle of Outpost Vegas, fought in March 1953 during the Korean War. 7. During one day of that battle, how many trips did she make and how much ammunition did she carry? Answer, she made 51 solo trips, carrying 386 shells, over 9,000 pounds of ammunition in total. 8. How was Reckless injured in battle and how did she respond? Answer, she was hit by shrapnel in the flank and above her eye. Despite being wounded, she continued carrying ammunition and wounded Marines. 9. How did the Marines describe her importance during the war? Answer, they said, we would sooner lose a man than that horse. 10. Who promoted Reckless to staff sergeant and when? Answer, General Randolph Pate promoted her at Camp Pendleton in 1959 in a ceremony with a parade and a 19-gun salute. 11. What special rules applied to her rank as a real staff sergeant? Answer, no Marine of lower rank could give her orders. She couldn't be written. If she nudged a private for food, that counted as an order. 12. How did she travel back to the United States after the war, and when did she arrive? Answer, the Marines arranged her secret passage by ship, and she arrived in San Francisco on November 10, 1954, the Marine Corps birthday. 13. What did she do at the Marine Corps birthday ball in San Francisco? Answer, she ate both the cake and the flower decorations. 14. What awards and medals did she receive? Name at least 3. Answer, she received 2 Purple Hearts, a Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, a Presidential Unit Citation with Bronze Star, a Korean Service Medal, a United Nations Korea Medal, and others. 15. Where can people see memorials to Sergeant Reckless today? Answer, statues of her stand at the Marine Corps Museum in Quantico, Virginia, and at Camp Pendleton, California.